Lynae has just been officially revealed to be the first character coming in Wuthering Waves version 3.0, and thus also being the first new character to come out with the region of Lahai-Roi. And with a release time as important as hers, I've had my fair share of speculations about what Lynae might end up doing. So that's what this video is about. As usual, I would like to establish what I believe to be Lynae's attribute and weapon type. This is obviously not confirmed yet and is probably going to get proven wrong tomorrow, but I have my fair share of ideas, so I want to talk about them while they're relevant. So first off, for Lynae's attribute, which I am more confident on than her weapon type. I believe Lynae is going to be a Spectro character, and I have quite some reasons to believe this. Next to Glacio, Spectro is the element that has been waiting the longest for a new character addition. The last Spectro character to come out was Zani, and that was quite a while ago. At this point, it was half a year ago since Zani's release, so getting another Spectro character feels like it's about time. Trust me, Glacio fans, you'll get your happiness one day. But now here's my primary reason for thinking Lynae is going to be a Spectro character, and that is her theme of colors. In her drip marketing, there is a pretty big emphasis on colors, and even the inside of her jacket is very filled with just color splotches. She also seems to be some sort of graffiti artist, so having a theme of colors makes a lot of sense. And as we all know at this point, or maybe not, Kuro gets kind of scientific with these fortes and resonators. For example, they made Augusta Electro and not Fusion, because technically the sun is made up of plasma, and they always associate plasma with lightning, as evidenced by PGR's plasma beam effect being a subsidiary effect of lightning damage. They also decided to make Augusta's forte center around magnetism, which is also very much associated with electricity. So Kuro gets pretty specific and scientific when it comes to a character's forte. And with this much emphasis on colors in Lynae's drip marketing, as well as her design, colors are most likely related to Lynae's forte. So that means that we're gonna have to look at colors when it comes to determining Lynae's element. And as we probably know, at least I hope you know, colors are simply just light being refracted in different ways. And guess what the light element is in this game? It is Spectro. This reasoning is a bit dubious, and it's not exactly very clear or set in stone, but it's definitely a lot more evidence than there is for quite literally any other element. The reasoning for Spectro might seem like a stretch, but if you're gonna tell me this character is Glacio or a Fusion, I don't think you'll have any reason to think that. So despite being a bit of a stretch, I do think Lynae is gonna end up being a Spectro character. Now for her weapon type, which is gonna get a lot more dubious. Because I can honestly say that I can see Lynae using most of the weapon types in the game. I don't think she's gonna be Broadblade because Chiso was a Broadblade character. She might be Rectifier and then have a sort of graffiti paint can attack pattern, like how Zhezha uses her brush. I could see her being a sword character who focuses on moving very swiftly. I could even see her being a gauntlets character and just punching people. Maybe she could even be a pistol character who has paint guns. I don't know what her weapon type could possibly be. The only reason that Broadblade is not in my list of candidates is because Cheese is a Broadblade character and I don't think they would do two in a row. But even then, they just might. I just think they won't. But Kuro Games does not have such limitations. They honestly just do not care. So what is my assumption for her weapon type? I honestly just don't know. My only reasoning for thinking any of these weapon types are incredibly far-fetched. So there's not really any weapon that I think she's more likely to use than any other. I could honestly see her using any weapon type. Now I would like to discuss what I believe Lynae is going to play like. Now first of all, I'm going to get this out of the way. I think Lynae is going to be a DPS, because she is the first character of a new nation. There is no way they're not going to make her a DPS, because it's very simple. When you have new players or returning players that are coming back, specifically for Lahai-Roi, what you want to do is you want to market them a new shiny DPS to play around with, so they can get this new DPS and have some fun. But if they make the new character a support, that's gonna immediately become a lot more questionable. Because if they are in fact a support, that means that it's gonna entirely depend on what DPSs you have if the character is even going to be relevant. so it's simply the safest play to make the new character a DPS. DPS releases are also just simply more hyped up than support releases. There's a reason that everyone wants their favorite to be a DPS, because they want to see the most of them possible, and they believe that their character being a DPS is the most enjoyable. So I would be incredibly surprised, if not flabbergasted, if Kuro does not make the first character of Lahai-Roi a main DPS. Okay, so we have a Spectral main DPS to work with. What else is there to work with here? Well, we could determine her damage type. Out of all of the damage types currently available, we have Echo skill damage, basic attack damage, skill damage, liberation damage, heavy attack damage, and frazzle damage. I don't think she's going to be a frazzle damage dealer or a heavy damage dealer. For the simple reason of Zani is both heavy and frazzle. While this means absolutely nothing for power creep reasons, I just think it's a way better move from Kuro Games if they make it diversified. You know, maybe make lynae a basic attack based DPS so she can use Sanhua, and then you can still use your Zani Phoebe combo. I just think it's a way better idea if new DPSs do not take the exact same team as the old DPSs. Think of Augusta and Shengliao for example. Augusta and Shengliao are both Electro DPSs, but Shengliao is a liberation damage dealer, and Augusta is a heavy attack damage dealer, which ultimately leads to them using different supports. I just hope that lynae isn't going to be a frazzle damage dealer, because then we're just going to get into the exact same issue that we had with Zani. Because if you don't have Phoebe, then you're going to be cooked. I just think it's a bad idea for Kuro Games to do that with a new release. They would need to make someone who is self-sufficient and doesn't need a specific support to be really good. That leaves us with basic attacks, liberations, skills, and echo skill damage. Now, whichever one of these lynae is going to end up being, I don't really care. Preferably not skill damage because that's what Jinshi does, but since she is a lot less recent, I don't have as big of an issue of them repeating this combination as I would have with heavy attack or spectro frazzle damage. As for her playstyle, I think this is going to end up being a very unique one. I do see that in her splash art, lynae has a motorcycle. Do I think she's going to use this thing in combat? I have absolutely no idea, but if she does, I already see the comparisons coming from a mile away. I sincerely hope that she does not end up using the motorcycle in combat. As cool as it would be, it's just not worth the trouble, and it might end up introducing some clunk that other DPSs don't really have. What I do hope she uses is paint cans and a lot of graffiti-based effects. If you want a good example of how Kuro Games handles graffiti-based combat, look at the new Luna Oblivion skin that came in Punishing Grey Raven. It absolutely nails the street aesthetic and absolutely does wonders with the graffiti gimmick. I even see some symbols in that skin that are pretty close to what lynae has. So honestly, they might have used this skin as a sort of trial for lynae's combat animations. And I honestly do hope so, because the Luna Oblivion skin looks absolutely incredible. They specifically mentioned in her drip marketing that she is fast, so I do expect some very high-octane gameplay with a lot of movement within the animations. I do also believe that lynae's forte is going to end up having some gimmicks relating to color mixing. Like for example, she's able to get the 3 primary colors in varying ways, and then she combines them within her forte to grant her unique effects. We got something pretty similar with Wuling, so she might have been a sort of testing ground for lynae's forte. But that's just my opinion on what I believe lynae is going to end up doing. Let me know what you think of her down in the comments below. And while you're down there, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, you should join my Discord server, which is linked down in the description below. And if you just want to see more of me as a person, you can check out my second channel, which is also linked in the description. But that'll be all from me. Peace.